So today we're gonna figure out how much sugar is in one of these little drinks. Um, I'm having, I'm actually gonna do third grapes just so I can get a bigger volume displacement because I'm using some household materials. So I'm gonna use third grapes so that the water will rise a bit more and I'll get a bit more accurate of the volume. So the first thing that I'm going to do is put water in this little glass container or plastic container, I guess. And I'm going to mark the initial volume with a line. And I'm going to make sure that I'm going to find the mass of just the container and the water. So I'm going to make sure I compare it. And just like this, the container weighs 132 grams. So now I'm going to go ahead and add in the 3 grapes. And then I'm going to draw my next line. Now that I have the 2 lines, that difference is going to tell me how much volume those 3 grapes took up. So I'm going to take out those 3 grapes. And now what I can do is to find the new, or how much volume went up, I can add just enough water to make the lines different. And the difference in grams, because water has a density of 1 gram per millimeter, essentially, or milliliter. The amount of grams that the scale goes up is the amount of milliliters I added with my spoon. Now I'm just going to carefully add. So, well, I guess not that carefully. So my new weight is 159. So that means 43, 159. That means I added, I think 26. I'll check my math later. I added 26 milliliters of water, which means the grapes are 26 milliliters, which is my volume. So now I can go ahead and start with my real experiment. Now that I have that the grapes are, I think I had it on my hand, 26 milliliters. Now we are going to start with our real glass container. We're going to put it on the scale. I've already pre-weighed this. I know that there are 400 grams of water in this. So I know I have 400 milliliters of water. Now I can go ahead and add my 3 little grapes in. And I can go ahead and start adding sugar. I'm going to go ahead and tare it just so I can keep track of how much sugar I'm added. So we have 400 milliliters of water, and we'll see how many grams of sugar it takes for it to go up. Or the grapes to rise. I guess I'll store. So the sugar is dissolving, which is excellent. Right, I think I got most of that. So grapes are still not floating, maybe a little more buoyant, but not midway yet. Like I think you might just be off the ground. So I'm going to put about 18 grams of sugar in this container. I'm going to keep mixing. So the sugar is not dissolving super well, as you can see in the video. Okay, what is all? Okay, we're still not floating, so I'm going to keep going. I don't want to miss it. That's now about 44 grams of sugar. I'm kind of confirmed we're going to reach our KSP, which means nothing else is going to dissolve, and the grapes are still sinking. Nope, it's still down. I should have done this in the blender. Still not floating. I have 82 grams of sugar. This is why I was really lucky in my magnetic stroller in my classroom. I thought for a second that it was floating. I think it might have just been full cooling. Okay. Still not floating. So now we're at 98 grams in 400 mils of water. I'm really worried I'm gonna break one of these grapes doing this, but oh no, I think I missed it. Alright, we're gonna go with this because I did miss it. But I can add a little more water. Okay, so we're at 98 grams of sugar. I better write this down. So we're at 98 sugar. But now I've added a little more water because we kind of wanted to sink a little bit. So right now there's 400 grams of water. So let's add a couple grams of water just until it stops floating. Okay, I think we're like just about there, but like we're popping up and down. Just a little bit more in. Let's see. All right, this grape down here, I don't know if you can see it. Definitely we just reached it for grape number one. Grape number one needed 418 grams of water to 98 grams of sugar. So whatever that ratio is about 1 to 4. And then let's hear about grape number two and grape number three. It looks like the second grape is kind of down now. And now we're just waiting on this third grape. So second grape was down at 35, so 435. And the last grape still floating at 443. Okay, so grape number three went down at 458. And now I just found that it took 98 grams of sugar in 418, 435, and 458 milliliters of water for all three different grapes to be equal in the amount of sugar. So let's do those calculations now. All right. So now that I've transferred this data from my hand to the table, I went ahead, since we had three different grapes, I'm going to average the amount of water for each grape. So we did like an average ratio. So overall, we know that in 447 milliliters of water, we needed 98 grams of sugar for the grapes to float like this. Then we set up a ratio of 98 grams of sugar in 447 milliliters of water, and that's proportional to an unknown amount of sugar in the grapes in 26 milliliters of the grapes. So then we just cross multiply and divide, and we find out that the three grapes together have about 5.8 grams of sugar in it. So they have just under 2 grams of sugar per grape. And that's all. So this is how we figure out how much sugar can be in grapes.